I need another volunteer so we can break down another schedule. And then we can now talk about things you can do within that to kind of make it happen. Okay. You have 37 hours left over, correct? How many days out of the week do you want to work? 5 days. So divide that by 5. How many hours a day are you working? 7 hours a day, potentially. Are you more buyers or sellers? Buyers. So the same split, 60-40. You break that down, and you need to figure out, of course, for 5 days out of the week, what can you be doing for about 3 hours a day, which you should never go 3 hours in a row. So if I'm him and I have 3 hours of productive activity left over out of my 7 a day for 5 days, I would probably go an hour and a half, take a break, hour and a half. Because your brain can only work so much in an hour and a half time frame, okay? So we've broken down to 168. So we now all know that there's no more excuse of we don't have enough time. Can we all agree? We have more than enough time. We're just not using that time wisely. We're not doing the things that we should be doing. So what are some of the things you could be doing within your time? If you're more of a marketing person, you can be creating content, or you can do an email blast or a social media blast. If you're more like me, I'm not tech savvy, but for me to go out and meet 40 brand new people every single day, I have to be face to face. So you can cold call, door knock, go to Kroger, Walmart, go to new construction sites on the weekends, hang out, go to the bar, or go to the bar with the intentions of meeting brand new people. You go everywhere else that agents don't go. That's my motto. I don't like being in a room full of agents unless I'm speaking. Anytime else, I want to be the only agent in the building. Why? Because it's my stage to introduce myself to as many people as possible. So when I'm cold calling, what am I saying? It's 5 steps to cold calling. You probably want to write it down. The first step is you have to ask for the person, who it is that we're talking to. And within that first step, they can only be 1 of 4 people. They can only be the person you're calling, the owner of the address, a person that owns a house in the state, or they want to buy a house in the state. So within step 1, we have to qualify to make sure we're talking to 1 of those 4 people before we move on to step 2. The rule is 1 yes, we move on, 4 no's, we get off the phone, okay? So the first question we ask is, hey, can I speak to Bob? We call him by name. If it's not Bob, we then use the address. Because when you're cold calling, you can always see an address. Hey, is this the owner of 123 Main Street? If that's a no, we ask them, okay, hey, do you own a house in the state of Iowa? If that's a no, do you want to own a house in the state of Iowa? And if that's a no, we get off the phone. But 1 yes to any of those 4 questions, then we can move on to step 2, which is introduce yourself. Short and sweet. If I'm on the phone and I'm talking, hey, this is Quintavius Burdette with Remax Experts, click, hang up. Way too long. Short and sweet and get to the point. Hey, this is Q with Remax. And within that same breath, we have to hit step 3, which is to give back to their time. What does that mean? Just take a quick moment to ask them, hey, it's now a good time to talk. Hey, do you have a second? Hey, did I catch you at a bad time? So let's recap. Step 1, ask for the person. Within that, we have to start with the name. If it's not the person that we're looking at name-wise, go to the address. If they don't live at that address, they don't own that address, go to the state. If they don't own a house in the state, do you want to own a house in the state? It can only be 1 of those 4 people. And we know that on the front end. The toughest part about the call is step 4. It's to neutralize the conversation. What does that mean? You have to relate it to something other than what you're truly calling about. So when I neutralize the conversation, I just say, hey, Ole Miss is playing Tulane this weekend. We're ranked 20th in the country. They're 24. You think we can take them? Are you an Ole Miss fan? And they're going to tell me yes, no, who they cheer for. But we can't stay on that subject for a long time. You guys have it easy. You have Iowa, you have Iowa State. You have Caitlin Clark that's near. What do you think Caitlin Clark's going to do this year? So it's easy ways. And for all the folks who are here to say, well, Q, I'm not a sports person. I have one for you. I'm taking a quick survey today, and I'm asking folks, are you a cat person or a dog person? Everybody can use that one. And regardless if they're a cat person or a dog person, we always have to make them feel like they're in the majority. Okay, awesome. I've talked to 40 people today and I've had 30 cat and 10 dogs so far. So you're definitely in the majority. But then you have to get to step 5, which is get to the point. So step 1, ask for the person. Step 2, introduce yourself. Step 3, give back to the time. Step 4, neutralize the conversation. Step 5, get to the point. At that get to the point stage of it, we never ever want to say the words sell and buy. We have to be creative. So what is another way to ask someone if they're looking to sell or buy a home? Hey, have you guys thought about potentially upsizing, downsizing, kind of moving on from that property? Hey, are you looking to add more to your portfolio? Those are things that make folks actually respond. Hey, are you looking to sell your house? Turns them off. That's like going on a date, fellas, and asking a lady straight to your home. Take her to a movie first. All right? So it's one of those things where we're saying the exact same thing, but it's how we say it. That's cold calling. When we're door knocking, it's crazy. It's the same exact steps. The only thing is you're not going to knock on someone's door and say, are you Steve? No. So drop step 1, start with step 2, with introducing yourself. Short and sweet. Those conversations happen very, very fast when you're in person. So be prepared to get through your steps fairly quickly. Any questions for me so far before we move forward any further about anything that we've discussed? Yes.
You asked people primarily buyers or sellers, and you gave them a ratio based off of that.
Yes. Yeah, so perfect. If you're more sellers than you are buyers, it's a 50-50 split. Whereas you can split your time straight down the middle from productive activity to non-productive, because now you have to spend more time trying to prospect and find more sellers. And then you have less time now that you have to spend on showings, writing contracts, checking emails, and doing all that crazy stuff there. All right. So it's just a split straight down the middle, 50-50 with your time. But again, it's a ratio of if you have 2 hours, you should be meeting anywhere from 40 to 60 brand new people. You have 4 hours to do productive activity. You should be meeting anywhere from 60 to 80 brand new people every single day that you account for working. And it's your schedule. Let's go back to that. It's your schedule. You build it the way you want it, but you have to stick to it. A little bit about me and my background is when you grow up poor, you have to do stuff the hard way. I woke up every single day and I was passionate about going into the office, straight killing everyone that showed up to that office. So I would show up at 7 in the morning and I would leave at 7 in the night. I was turning the lights on in the morning and turning them off at night. I was making crazy videos about it, trolling people in my office about it. But that turned into business. It turned into attention. And the person who's the loudest and who can get their point across to the most folks, sometimes that's the person who's going to get the business. I wasn't the best agent when I first started out. I'm probably still not the best agent. But you know what I am? I'm the most visible agent in my market. I don't do any social media when it comes to advertising, billboards, and all that crazy stuff. I don't have a website. I don't have a CRM. So how am I the most visible? Because A, I'm willing to put in the time and the effort that no one else is willing to do. I'm willing to go to the grocery store and bag groceries for folks. And by the way, give them a card. What does that look like? I'm in a grocery store, they're in a grocery store. I go to the milk aisle and someone picks up whole milk. I pick up 2% milk. I say, my God, you can digest whole milk? And we crack a little joke and we laugh and I give them a card. I go to the grape aisle. They pick up green grapes. I pick up the purple grapes. Don't you know that the green grapes is actually sweeter than the purple grapes? Oh, no, I didn't know that. Have you ever tried the cotton candy grapes? No. Okay. But hey, my name is Quintavius. Here's my card. If I can ever help, let me know. And I do that throughout the entire store. When I'm done, I help people bag their groceries, take it to the car. It gives me another opportunity to talk to them. I'm willing to do that. Other agents aren't. I'm willing to go and knock on 100 doors in the heat if it's raining. I have a video on my Instagram where I'm knocking and it's raining. I got an umbrella. But I film that stuff to show that I'm willing to do it, and they aren't. And I'll never forget this story where I knocked on a guy's door, and then about 5 o'clock that afternoon, I met that same guy at Kroger. He called me 2 or 3 weeks later, was like, hey, we want you to sell our house. And I asked him why. He said, because you knocked on our door that morning around 11. We went to Kroger later that afternoon. You were still out passing out cards. That's the type of agent that we want. How many of you guys in this audience will work without the results. Or after a couple weeks, couple days, some of them a couple hours, if they don't get the results they want, we stop. Where's the money? Where's the business? They always say in the follow-up, right? No, it's in the activity. The more activity you're willing to do, the more business you're going to have. Because then the more follow-up you have to do as well. So we have to focus on activities. If we go to my Instagram, you'll see my schedule. I posted my schedule. There's no time on my schedule. It's only activities. It tells me on Mondays, talk to 200 people. Wednesdays, go to a location and pass out 50 business cards. We have to start breaking down activities throughout our day. And now that we've broken down our 168, we know how much time in a day that we have to do these things. We just have to start getting it done. There's so many excuses right now in the business that needs to go away. The only excuse is someone else is doing it and you're not. Because there's a closing happening every single day in your market, whether or not you're a part of it or not. So we can't blame the market. We can't blame the interest rates. We only blame ourselves for missing these opportunities. And we have to stop doing that. We have to be so committed to saying, you know what, regardless of the closings, regardless of everything that's happening, I'm gonna wake up today and I'm gonna do my part. And the only thing that you can control is how many hours out of the day that you're gonna use for your productive activity, and what are you gonna do with that time? For me, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm talking to as many people as possible. I'm getting on some nerves. You know, I have a moving truck. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it. It has my ugly face on it and a sign and a house. And I drive that moving truck around, and I'm the most annoying guy on the street. I drive in the fast lane about 45 miles an hour. Cars are honking the horn, beeping. And I go to a stoplight, the light turns green, I sit there. I make all the cars behind me beep. Why? It draws attention to my vehicle, to my truck. I've had people call me while I was rolling. You need to get over. You need to buy a house. Just that simple. So we have to start using everything that we have at our disposal to say, you know what, I'm gonna make the best out of it. My social media, I post a lot on it, post a lot of crap, but it gets attention. It gets attention and it saves me money. I don't have the website, the fancy tools. I don't have the CRM. I use my iPhone. How do I do that? Well, easy. I save the name and the first, last name, and in the company tab, I put whether or not they're a seller, a buyer, real estate one, real estate two. It means something totally different from me on each person. And I just search my phone, and that's who I know to call. On Thursdays, when it says follow up, I just go down my list. I follow up with people that are in my seller category, A through M. And then the next time I know, okay, I stopped at M last time, I need to go all the way through Z. Just simple stuff that I don't have to sit down and try to learn a brand new tool. And I know a lot of you guys are thinking like, this guy's an idiot. He should put all that stuff in a CRM and it makes it a lot easier. Yes, but I've worked my iPhone for forever. I know how to work it down to the last sign. And it doesn't cost me any more money to have a different avenue for it, all right? So that's why I do it that way. But for me, traveling and speaking and giving back to you guys has become a passion of mine. But I also want you guys to understand that I'm still selling at a very high, rapid pace. So you're not just talking to a guy who's done it. I'm still doing it to this day. All right, any questions for me so far? Any other questions have developed? Say it again? I'm not single. I'm married. I've been married the last 3 years. No children. No children yet. Yep. So that's a great question. Say it again. No. That record he can keep. Any other questions right now for me? So, right. So I get all of my contacts from RedX, or, you know, we also use the tax assessor. But RedX is a place that you can put in an address. And with that address, you can pull up the next 50, 100, 200 numbers around that address to then call. Now, a lot of folks ask, how accurate is the information? Well, if someone picks up the phone and says hello, it's very accurate. Because now we're going to take them through our 4 steps to figure out who it is that we're talking to. So, how do I pick the address to use? Well, I just use agent listings. When I first got started, I understood one thing about the business is when you get listings, all the agents want to send out just listed postcards to everybody in the neighborhood. The only problem with that is it takes about 3 to 5 business days for that to reach that person's mailbox. It's going to take me 3 to 5 hours to call the entire subdivision and spoil your little party with your little note that you're going to send in the mail, and then go and door knock and give them a card of my own. Who's going to be remembered? I am. So I started to use those listings as my point of reference to say, I need to call that area because I know they're going to send a card out. Let me get the message out before they do. Let me go and door knock that area. But then, of course, you can go to the tax assessor, which is what I've been doing lately. I put the tax assessor in alphabetical order, and I only call people that own 10 or more properties. All right, and I'm asking them simple questions. Are you looking to sell everything, or you're looking to add more to your portfolio, what it is that you're looking to do? That's a much easier conversation that way, because the tax assessor, I'm not sure about you guys' state, but in Mississippi, the numbers are on the deeds. You just got to find the owner, click on the property, look at the deed, call them. I'm not sure if it's the same way here or not, but I use the tax assessor for that information. Good question, though. Yep. Yes.
I hear what you're saying. How many years have you been doing it?
So in January to be 5 years.
5. Okay. So what you're doing now and keeping active and motivated, do you see yourself doing that in 20 years? My first question is motivation and keeping the longevity and not burnout. And then how are you breaking through with cold call with the rotodial and all that? Because right now it's like, I feel like, are you doing any video to follow up with those cold calls when you're getting a no, or sorry, I'm spamming you?
Right. So to answer your first question about longevity and doing this for 20 years, me personally, I have a saying and a motto of, a lot of agents around the country, they always ask, how do you do more? How do you do more? Well, I'm trying to figure out, how do I do less? I don't want to do this for 20 years. I want to I told myself when I started, 5 years and I'm done. And year 5, I can look up, in 5 years, I've bought, I own 47 rental properties. They're all paid for. So I don't have to do it for 20 years. I can do something different. But to avoid burnout, the motivation is in the process. I'm motivated by just the activity. I care less about closings. I care less about everything else that comes with this business. I care about the process of, I see someone else that is doing it. Like I come to this room, and someone told me yesterday they had a deal that was 48 properties, 11 million. Well, that motivates me now to say, you didn't do crap yesterday. I need to go out and try to find me a deal like that. So that's what I'm more motivated about, not the process of calling and doing all that stuff. It's just seeing other agents do it. And I say, you know what, I can do that as well. I want to try. I want to go and do it. So I'm not too concerned about doing it for 20 years because I've put the money in the right places now to where I don't have to do it for 20 years. And that's what I want to challenge agents to do. Have really good years. If it's 10 years of good years, 20 years of good years, but have an exit strategy. How can we stop selling so many houses? How can we get our lives back? How can we be there more for our families? How can we go on more vacations with the fam? Be there for our friends. Hang out, play more pickleball. I play a lot of pickleball now. How can we do that? And the only way we do that is if we focus for how many years that we have to do this, and we be disciplined with our funds and our money and our attention to a point to where eventually we can say, I don't have to do it anymore. Now, to answer your question about how do I handle the folks hanging up and the ones who are not ready, I move on to the next caller. Because I truly believe that there's a set group of people out here that only want to work with me. I just have to find them. And if this person is not ready, I can make them say they're ready. And the difference in the market right now is, it's not easy for someone to give up 3% to get 8%. Understand that. But if it's ideal for them to sell their property and potentially buy one at a lower price, higher interest rate, and refinance in a year or so, some folks are still willing to do that. And some folks have to move their jobs. They have more kids. The kids leave the house. They want to downsize. So the cold calling is still working to that extent to where I'm having to call more people to get the same results. But it's just part of the program. I'm not afraid to put in that time and that effort. Did I answer all your questions?
Cold calling with all of your people that you have in 5 years.
Why am I still cold calling? Because of the simple fact of, if I want to do 300 deals, I'm not going to have enough repeat business to keep that up. See what I'm saying? So I have to continue to try to seek and gain market share within my community. But, this year was the first year, and I'll share this with y'all, that I said, you know what? I'm always about like trial and error. I want to test stuff. I've made 0 phone calls, 0 door knocks this year. I even left the country without a phone for 8 weeks. For 8 weeks, I didn't have no phone, no anything, no contact to my business. And I'm a solo agent. I don't have a team or anything of that nature. And I'm over a chairman's club right now, and just people call my phone. We do real estate, this, that, and the third. So to answer your question, I don't have to continue to call and do that. I do it because I want to. See what I'm saying? I do it because I still want to grow. I still want to eat up some of that market share. That's the reason I do it, if I was doing it. Whereas I came into this year saying I wanted to test to see like how much business I could do without doing anything, making 1 phone call, knocking on 1 door. And that's what I've been doing this whole year so far. Just enjoying my time, enjoying my family, traveling, and doing other things other than making phone calls and door knocking. So does that answer your question? Okay, awesome. Any other questions? Yes.
Chris, hold on. I know you're loud, but can't hear you.
All right, so you left for 8 weeks and you didn't have your phone. So what does like your back end processing look like? Do you like hire like a person? Do you have someone in your office that handles that? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so my assistant kept my phone, but my assistant can't do real estate business. She's unlicensed. So all she would tell the folks, and Shane will attest to it. He texts me, call me, and what they tell you? Correct. So that was the message. Hey, Q is gone. He'll be back on this date. He can call you then. That was it. And when I got back, I had a list of folks who had called while I was gone. And I just called them all back. Hey, you called me when I was out of town. So sorry. Have you been taken care of? Yes or no? Okay, awesome. So good to hear that. Oh, no? Okay, how can I help? So that was that conversation coming back. But I left that business. I left. Nowhere to be found. And I came back and stuff is still intact. People still know that I'm a real estate agent. People still know to call me. And that's what I wanted to build when I started. It's something that I don't have to work as hard at, but I still do just because. And that trip proved to me that my theory was exactly what it is that I thought it was, but I'm just going to see it out. I measure things by year. And my first year in the business, I did 500 grand. In sports, you sign 1-year contract. That's basically like a prove it deal. Okay. So every year that I do something, I have to have a prove it year. So my first year, I did what I did. I had to have a prove it year. So I did it again. All right. My third year in the business, I did over $2 million in Mississippi, where my average price point is about 250,000. In GCI, I did over 2 million. I had to have a prove it year. So I did that again. And this is now, I'm in year 5. I wanted to say, hey, I want to have a year to where I don't do anything. Let's see where my business will take me. And this is kind of a year that I said, I don't have to do it again to prove it. This is 1 year that I have. Next year, I'm looking to do something totally different. So that's kind of where I am. Yep. Yes.
Okay, so my question is, with your 47 properties that you own that are paid off, are you having private investment for any of those? And then also, do you do any flips? Do you do any wholesaling, or is it just rentals that you're buying and holding?
Yeah, so my properties, I don't do any financing, period. I only buy what my cash can buy. And a lot of folks say, well, that's stupid, Q, you should leverage. Well, tell the people that bought in 2008, 2009 that, So I'm scared of that because I come from nothing. I didn't want to tie up my money with leveraging and then something bad happened in the market and I lose everything. So I wanted to only buy what I could afford. So those 47 are all long-term rentals. I don't do short-term rentals at all, but I do some flips. So I'll buy a package deal of 3 or 4 houses. I'll keep 2 or 3 of them, sell 2 of them. But I don't count those in my active properties that I own currently. Those properties come and go. Like right now, I just bought one for 68 grand. It's going to take about 15,000 to get it to where it needs to be. Putting a tenant in there for 1450, and I already have a buyer that's going to buy it from me for 200 grand. You know, so those are good returns for the rent that they get because the taxes in Mississippi are fairly low, the insurance as well. So, you know, I do 4 or 5 of those a year.
What percentage would you say are flips versus something you buy and hold?
Oh,
And then
yeah,
what?
go ahead.
And then on the flips, I'm always curious. We have clients, you know, I do some flips and stuff too. So what is do you have one contractor that you use for everything that, you know, project manages it, or do you outsource that? What's kind of your thought process with a flip?
Yep. So about 90% of the houses that I purchase is buy and hold. The other 10% I probably get rid of. And it's because maybe they don't fit my portfolio the way they should. I'm a very strict buyer when it comes to buying and hold. I want my portfolio to look the same. So one day, someday, if I ever want to sell everything, I can just call one big hedge fund and say, you know what, I have properties that fit your box. Can you buy them all? So all of my properties are 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a 2-car garage or a 2-car carport, at least. You know, I have some 4 bedrooms, I have some 5-bedroom homes, but they all have to have at least covered parking or garage. All right, so, but then as far as the contractors piece, yes, I have 3 different groups that I have that work on my property. So my flips, I have a group within my business, and we'll talk about this here in a minute. I'm not even done telling y'all stuff that y'all can use, but within my business, I have a concierge service. I have a group that does that job, and then I have folks who do my flips. And then it's a contractor where, you know, I got the painter, got the floor, got everybody. Just make one phone call, they go out, they do it, and it takes them about 3 days to knock out a full rehab on my properties. Because I send them so many properties, like mine plus my clients, that I keep them very busy. So they know when they go in, we rip out everything. We don't try to save anything. We rip out all the floors, all the cabinets, all the granite, all the countertops, and we go back in with the exact same thing in every single house. So now if I say, hey, go paint 6734 Cherry Creek, they know exactly what color the paint is. Hey, the cabinets or the granite needs to be replaced. They know exactly what granite is in every single house. So we keep it simple. And all they ask is, Q, you want the Q package 1, 2, or 3? I say, do Q1 on this one, do Q2 on this one, and we just keep notes of it. And that just tells them like what flooring goes, what granite, what cabinets, and this, that, and the third. So, yep, just make it simple.
Yeah, thank you.
Good question. Any other questions right now? Yep. They're making you run all across the place. This your workout.
So they say something like 87% of the people you sell or buy with you will use you again, but only 17% actually do. How do you follow up with so many people and make sure they stay in your pipeline and they don't fall off?
Yep. So for me, it's easy because I make sure all of my clients are on my Facebook, and I'm very active on Facebook, not just from posting, but I go down my friend list every single morning. And I like pictures, and I like I heart, you know, their posts and all that stuff. What that does is, of course, it gives them a notification that, oh, Q liked one of my pictures. He liked actually 5 of my pictures. And I'll tell you a funny story about that, why I stopped doing it as much. But I would go down on their page, like 40 of my friends every morning, and then I just like stuff on their page so I get notifications. But what it does for me is it allows me now to pop up on their timeline, because you pop up on the timelines that you interact with, not like, oh, you post and you just gonna pop up. No, the people that you interact with on your timeline are the folks that your stuff is gonna pop up on. So I make sure I go and interact with everybody. So at least I'm one of their 500-600 people that they actually see on their timeline. But funny story, I was going down one of a girl's page, and I was doing my thing. I was liking, and she told it was actually a Remax person, and they told another agent, they was like, I think Q is into me, and I was like, why she think that? She was like, because she said you went down her page and liked a lot of old pictures at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, because that's when I wake up, and I do that to everybody. And I was like, just make sure she understands that I'm married and I'm not into her. But then I was like, okay, I could see how she was. That's kind of weird to just go down a page and like back to back to back posts. So now I make sure it's at least recent posts that I'm liking. So that's the funny story about that. But great question. Any other questions?
Can you tell us about the 8 weeks?
I can't.
I know.
Yeah, I can't. So I just tell you, I filmed a TV show that'll come out on TV and Netflix. So when it comes out, I'll tell you guys and you can watch it. How about that? That's fair? That's fair. Okay. Any other questions before we get into like listing stuff, techniques that I'm doing within my marketplace to kind of get more commission or less commission and how I'm doing that. And then also events that I'm putting on that can help you guys as well. We're going to get into that here shortly if we don't have any more questions right now. We're good? All right. So a lot of folks always ask me, and I share this, Q, when you go on listing appointments, what does it look like? Well, it looks very simple, like this. I wear hoodies and these jeans just about every day. I got this hoodie. It's a Lululemon hoodie. I probably got it in about 12 colors. And even in the summer, I wear this hoodie when I go to listing appointments. And I don't take any papers or anything. No pumps, no CRMs, none of that crap. CMAs. I go in, I have a listing agreement in my car. And if they want to sign with me, they do it. But what I do is I show up to the properties and I ask them, hey, can you walk me around your home? Show me your house as if you're the agent and I'm one of the buyers. And I let them do that. They show me all this stuff. And all while they're showing me and I'm hearing them, they talk about their kid and I'm seeing pictures and I'm seeing how they decorated. Oh, she plays the piano, and I'm collecting information. And then when they're done, I say, hey, let me walk you around your property and maybe show you some things that you've probably never seen in your 4, 5, 10 years of being here. Or maybe you have, you just ignored it. So then I walk them through their home the same way. And I point out, hey, you know, we need to change this picture this way, move this furniture. Oh, your kid plays softball. My dad plays softball. I play football in Ole Miss. Now I'm starting to build that rapport based off everything that they have in their house. And now we get to the table. Now they want to talk about commission. They want to talk about, hey, what do you charge? And what I do is I tell them, I start at 7. I give you 6. I'll sell you 5. What does that mean? Well, I list houses at 7% normally, but I'll give you 6. What does that entail? You have to send me one person looking to do business within 12 months. No obligation. If you can't, it's okay. But I give you that. Just send me one person. And I'll sell you 5. If you want 5%, you can have it today. But I'm selling it to you for 3 people looking to do business within 12 months. And if you can't send me 3 people, just pay back 1%. And they look at me the way you guys are looking at me right now. But that is a thing called I'm selling commission. Most folks are going to ask for discounts anyways. They want to hear that you say you have an option to go 5%. But I'm an options guy. So when I start, I always tell them, hey, I got 4 different ways I can sell your home. I can buy it right now for this price. I make my offer in every single house I go in. I can put it on the MLS to do it traditional. We can have folks run in and out of your home. We can put it on the market, take photos, schedule showings. Or I can shop it to a hedge fund. They pay a little bit more than me. They take a little bit longer to close. Or you guys who've watched TV, you've watched HGTV, and you've had inspirations to remodel your home and then sell it. You can use my concierge service where you can use my money to fix up your home, but that costs you 8% on the commission. And of course, a reimbursement of my funds. So I start about having so many options. So when we get to the commission piece, of the option train, it sounds the same. Oh man, this guy just has options. I have options for the contractors. I have options for, moving. I have a moving truck. You can use me. You can use my guys. The trucks are free. So I spend all this stuff at them. Then when we get to the commission, the options sound the same. So when I give them 7%, 6%, 5%, it sounds normal because I've already given them so many ways that they can use me and my services. So most of them, majority of the people, believe it or not, they either do 7% or 5%. I rarely ever have people to do 6%. But what I've done is I've potentially, because I'm okay with taking 6% on every single listing. What I've done is I've traded 1% away on a listing for the potential to get at least 9% if they only send me 3 buyers or they send me sellers. Never know if I can double in that as well. That's like little creative things that I'm doing within my marketplace that no other agent is doing that allows me now to also, okay, this agent is willing to do it for 5%. I'm willing to do it for 5%, but these are my terms. The other agents don't really have terms. You might say, well, Q, what keeps them from just going with that other agent or versus going with you? Well, it's simple. I always go first. I try to be the first person in the house when I go on listing appointments. And if I go first, you can cancel Christmas. The other agents aren't getting in. So they're not even going to hear their spiel. And that's how I'm locking these folks in at 5% and having them now work for me to send me 3 people to answer her question, why do you still cold call and door knock? Well, because I want to. But essentially, I have a lot of folks that's sending me 1 person every other month, 2 people, but they think they have to send me 3 people in a year. Now, will I ever go back and act and say, oh, you didn't say, no, probably not. But they don't know that. Because when I'm in, I'm locked in, I'm doing my thing, I come across as very stern and very serious. And they don't want to play those games. So what they do is, but also I do my job. Everything that I say I'm gonna do, I do it for them. And I do it to the way that they love me and they like me and that they're gonna send me people naturally anyways. But now they think that they're obligated to send everybody they know to me because I gave them 1% discount that maybe another agent would have given them anyways. Does that make sense? Other things that I'm doing in my marketplace is I partner with companies. And instead of now having to go out and knock on 500 doors or 100 doors, I bring the people to me. How do you do that? In Mississippi, it's one of the obesity states in the world. People like to eat. And they like sugary things. So I go to the sugary places and I go to the Cheesecake Factory and I buy 500 slices of cheesecake. And I say, hey, the first 500 people that come on this day get free cheesecake at the cheesecake place. They advertise it, I advertise it. And now you got the newspaper who, oh, this guy just bought 500 slices of cheesecake for people. They want to talk about it. And that day I go and I work in the cheesecake place. I put an apron on, a hat, I have a lot of business cards, and I'm passing out those 500 slices. While I'm there, I'm taking a poll of, hey, I have to keep up with what cheesecake you guys pick out the most, because at the end of the day, that's the one that I eat. It gives me an opportunity to talk to them, but give them a business card, show my personality. The line wraps around the building. And when they think I'm done, the next quarter, I do a pizza place. I buy 100 boxes of pizza. And I say you partner with it. So the cheesecake place, if it costs $8 a slice, she sells 500 slices to me for $5 each. It's $2,500. But now I spent $2,500 to meet 500 brand new people. If only one person was to buy a property, then it makes sense. But I guess multiple people that come through that then they talk about it for months and months at a time. And I make them take a picture with me and the cheesecake and post it on their social media. So now I'm getting in front of all of their people and they're tagging Q's free cheesecake all around their social medias. 500 people have done that. How much business do you think actually comes from stuff like that? I don't track it, but I get a call and say, hey, I remember you bought the cheesecake from for all the teachers that time, or I remember you got cheesecake for the community. I want to come and do business with you. I do pizza, I do the burger place, and it's always food because I'm in Mississippi. You know, maybe you guys got to be creative, do something different, but people in Mississippi like to eat, and it's the cheapest thing to go out and buy in bulk to have people come and gather around to have. Now, you can do coffee, you can do nail salons, or whatever you want to do. Hey, the first 10 people to share my post or to do something, or I do peanuts in a jar around Christmas. I give away a PS5. I give away a PS4 when it was popular, or you know, a trip to Disney, whatever. But you have to guess how many peanuts are in a jar. But by the way, you have to share the post, like the post, and comment one person that you're thinking looking to do something in real estate within the next 12 months. So it's making them do things. Now I have all of these posts of people that they've come in and that they think that might do something. I just got to stop off their Facebook pages now. Just go and send them a quick message. Hey, thank you so much. I heard that you're potentially looking to do something in real estate. Let me know if I can ever help. It turns into business. It costs me less than $1,000 to do any one of those giveaways. But those people, they line up for stuff like that. So we have to start being creative. We have to start giving back. We have to start doing things that kind of sting on the front end, but it puts us in front of a big, large group of people to where we can only be in one place. And I don't have to go and knock on the 50 doors. I don't have to go to the grocery store and go up and down the aisle. I just have to open the door at the place that I'm at and smile and be myself and give them something free. Everybody likes something free. Any questions about what I just talked about?
I have a few online.
Perfect.
Okay. From Cedar Falls, what is your market size?
My market size is, I think there's about 100,000 people in my area. It might be more, might be less. I don't keep track of that. I know this. In my market, there were 4,800 sales, and I did 300 of those. So I know that part of it, but I don't know how many people are in the metro area. Yep.
And then from Quad Cities, what systems do you have around you to handle pending the close? Curious how you manage your transactions since you've had so many.
Yep. So what we do is, like my bio says, I'm an old school agent trapped in a young body. So we have a nice whiteboard, big, about the size of maybe that wall over there, where we write the address and everything about that property. But my assistant, she has a checklist, every single file that is opened. She then takes that file from basically sending the contracts to the attorneys, the lenders, and everyone else involved. We send out a welcome email for every contract with all the contacts of everybody, and she handles all. I don't check emails. I'm terrible at email. Where's Jenny? Ask her, she'll tell you. I'm awful with communicating back and forth through email. So my assistant does all those things that I don't want to do. So I go out, I bring the business in, I get the contracts, and then from there, I pass it on to my assistant. And if she has questions, of course, she texts me and asks me, but I do all of the negotiating. I do all of the, of course, if I have to show a property, write a contract, I do all of that. And then from there, she kind of does the back end parts of it. As far as that, hope that answers the question. But the other systems, it's just simple, man. I print out every single file. I have a folder for every single file. I don't trust the dot loops and all that stuff of the world. They crash a lot. I'm scared of crashes, as you guys have not seen. But I just print them all out, and we have a folder, and we have a checklist. Every single day she gets in, she has to go down that checklist. And when I check a folder, and if something is not done, hey, why is this not done? Oh, we're waiting on it. Okay, write it in so I can read it. That's kind of our system. Yep. Any other questions? No questions, man. Good. Okay.
So starting out, like being brand new, I know now you have like the concierge service and like where you'll finance it and stuff like that. So how did that evolve? So obviously when you first started, you didn't have the funds to say, use my money to fix up your house. So how did that evolution start?
Yep. So I think I heard it somewhere about 3 years ago. And at this point in time, I had funds on the side to be able to start doing that. So I didn't offer that until, of course, I was capable of doing it. But if I go back to it, of course, I didn't spend any money. I didn't do any events until I was capable of doing those either. So that evolved as I grew in the business. I started to make funds, and I started to want to get more creative with what I'm doing, offer more services, and be different. Of course, that's why I got the moving truck. No one else in my town, in my area, my market has the moving trucks like I have. It just added benefits within my business that the public can now use at their expense, of course, But they have to reimburse me. They have to put gas in the truck. And they have to pay for the movers. I have movers. You have to pay for the movers, but the trucks are free. So it's different ways just for me now to understand the transaction as a whole, what goes on, what happens. I'm walking to a property versus someone selling a house for 150 that they can probably get 250 for if they just put $30,000-$40,000 worth of work in it. I want to solve that problem for you if you won't. If not, then I can just buy it from you if you don't want to do that. But I'm willing to help. So it came from just making the money, saving the money, and then putting the money in the right places by helping myself, by buying rental property, but now helping my clients by building equity within their property by fixing it up. So, yep, it was a patience thing. Patience thing. Yes.
I'm wondering, there's a lot going on, obviously. Are you in the back end? I mean, your accounting background.
Mhm.
Do you then work that back end and, track your funds and get your return on investments? And is that you that
Yeah,
does
so
that?
you saying it's for my rental properties and everything else?
Rentals and investment into advertising, gaining attention.
Yes. So
You
what
look,
I
I'm
do is
spending this for that.
correct. I spend everything on one card. So I can look at it about a month. And I know last year I spent a total of, I think, about 90 grand, a total. And we did, right over 2.5 in GCI. So I don't have to track that well. I know kind of the activities that I'm doing and what it equates to. It's equating to attention in business, but I'm not just spending crazy money to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm close to being in the red. Now, when it comes to my rental properties, I created a formula that populates where I don't buy unless the formula says true. If it says false, I don't buy. I take the emotion of, okay, do I want to buy? Should I buy? No, if the formula says buy, I buy. If it says don't buy, I don't buy. And that formula is just basically a lot of things built into trying to get an 11.5% return after everything else is said and done, like the expenses, the depreciation, the appreciation of the property each year, 3.5%, 4% accounted for, all that stuff. And it'll tell me true or false based on that deal if I should buy it or not. So that's where my accounting is kicking in. But as far as like my taxes and the tracking, no, I have a company that actually does that for me.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
You've obviously tried a lot of things and a lot of them have done a lot for you. What would you say is the thing that you spent the most amount of time on that you wish you wouldn't have?
All the calls that come in about, like set schedule and all these different companies that, hey, we're looking for an agent in your market. Early on, I spent a lot of time answering those calls, entertaining those people, trying them out. They didn't work. Sending those just listed postcards and stuff. I did that early on. Didn't really equate to anything other than a lot of them in the trash, I would assume. So little stuff like that. Just going to a lot of like YPN events where a lot of agents were there. It just didn't really turn it. And I know you have to network within your market, but my networking is I'm gonna do a deal with you. And you're gonna see how I work and how I respond and how attentive I am to detail within the deal to make you say, you know what, Q is fun to work with versus going out for a drink. I don't even drink. So going out to a social event with a lot of agents. I did some of that stuff early on that I wouldn't do again. But other than everything else that I've done within my business, I would do it again because it yielded some sort of result. Now, if it's one result of 50, it's still a result. Whereas whatever it is that I did, it paid for itself by just one person saying, okay, yes, I see it. I want to be involved. I made a lot of mistakes with the calls early on, where I made a whole lot of calls that didn't turn into anything, but that turned into my strip that I have now that actually works for me, the process behind it of asking for the person to introduce how my call should sound and look, how long it should last. I learned that by the process of making thousands and thousands of calls and not getting the results that I thought I should be getting at that time. So there's nothing really that I wouldn't do again because I'm a try it all type of guy. But there are, some things that I say just a waste of time. So.
Two questions. You said 11%. Is that on your rentals? And then what's your percentage on your flips that you want to make? And then the second question is, does one go through their Facebook and just get rid of all the agents that are on their Facebook? And what's your opinion on your Facebook with your agent friends?
Yeah, so the 11% is my rental properties. That's what I want to make. And then on the flips, I try to do a deal where, if I can make 20, 30 grand after everything, I'm fine. If I can't, I probably won't do it, depending on what I'm spending. Like on this one I just have, if I can buy for 68 with 15 to 20 in it, I'm in it for around 88 or so at the most. I can sell it for 200. Those numbers work. But I have done deals with, like, agents call me all the time and say, hey, can you buy my client's house, or can you go in with me and we flip it together? And how I want to do is, after the splits and the commission and we break the money down, I want to make at least 20 to 30,000 on a flip, to make it make sense for me, for the funds that I put out. Because I don't go into the bank. It's my money. So if it goes wrong, I'm risking all of my cash that I have to do it. As far as the agents on my Facebook, no, I have agents on my Facebook. They're there. They're seeing what I'm doing. They're participating. What I've learned is, there's a certain agents who don't want to see you do well, but then there's a lot of them who actually cheer you on and send you, like, it's agents in my market that sends me business because it's something that they can't do. They call me all the time when they have listings that don't sell, or if they have a client before they put it on the market, if they want to run it through me to see if I'll buy it or if one of my clients will buy it first. So it's helpful to have those agents on my social media. But also, I have agents that send people to use my moving trucks. Like, it's crazy to me because the U-Haul canceled their truck at the last minute. They're calling me, hey, Q, can one of my clients use one of your trucks? So I like those agents to be on my social media. But as far as, if they're on there interacting and also sending messages, then I have to just call them, hey, what the hell are you doing? You tripping? Let's stop. So I'm not afraid to make that call either. But most agents in they respect me to a point to where they're not going to be crowding my space like that. So
I actually have a question. Maybe I missed it, but did you touch on what you charge for your concierge service and how you secure your money?
I touched on, regardless if
what
they
you
use,
what you charge, I should say.
yeah. So if they use the concierge service, it's 8% commission. And the breakdown of my market, regardless if I take a listing for 5, 6, 7, or 8, I give out 3, and then of course I keep the rest plus a reimbursement of the money. And then if they use the concierge service, my attorney, we just do a mechanics lien. It's very simple to do, of course. And then that's how we ensure that we're going to get paid back at closing, which I've never, ever had a problem of a client saying, oh, no, I don't want to pay you back. Or I've never had a problem either of their house not selling and my money's just sitting in their property. So I guess if that was the case, I look at the deals very closely before I say, okay, yes, we can do the concierge service and you can spend X. We first see how much equity they have in the property just to make sure, hey, once we fix it up, they have enough room in order, if it goes wrong, to be able to pay it back at the closing table. But also we see, okay, is this property going to sell, period? And if I don't think it's going to sell, I'm not even going to take the listing, and I'm for sure not offering out my money to help you fix it up on a property that I don't even think it's going to sell, regardless of what we do. And there's no job that's too little or too big. I've had some people to spend $1,500 and they still have to do 8%. And I've had some people that spend $40,000, $50,000 and they still do the same thing, reimbursement, and pay 8% on the commission side of it. So, yep.
Okay, so you said you had 3 companies internally. So is that your contractors, movers, and then what would be like?
Yeah, no, so I have 3 different groups
Okay.
of contractors who are doing the remodels and the flips and the concierge service for
Okay.
my rentals, my flips, and my concierge. Now, the movers and all that stuff is totally different.
Yep.
And those are, I'm one of 17 kids, so I have brothers, cousins, that they've been moving folks for forever.
Yeah.
And we just, hey, you need to be moved on September the 16th. Awesome, I got 4 guys.
Yeah.
This is what it's gonna cost you. And normally the fee for us to move you is normally half of what anybody else would charge.
Okay.
And I cover if they break something, I pay
Yeah.
for it and replace it.
So are you building those all, you've never gone into a moving company that's, failing and said, hey, you've all
No.
built that internally. Okay. And then what would be, just curiosity, I know there's people locally that, maybe own a clothes or a cleaning company. Like what would be the next thing if you were to have two other companies in-house? Would it be cleaning? Would it be staging? Or how do you decide
So
what's
yeah,
there?
I have a cleaning. I got 2 girls who go in and clean.
Yeah.
For like clients or even rentals or anything else after new construction that's being built.
Yeah.
'Cause I represent builders as well. But for me, it's a need thing.
Yeah.
If I get enough folks needing this, whatever this is, lawn service or whatever, then I'll put it together and just now offer it out within my business. I know everybody who sells about a house have to move. So I just went ahead and put that piece together. Not everybody wants their grass cut every 2 weeks and all. So if I get a need for something, enough folks saying, hey, Q, I wish we would have had this, or I wish we have this, then that's what tells me, okay, Q, maybe you need to put that together to make sure it happens
Yep.
for the folks.
Makes
So,
sense.
Yep.
It's obvious that your accounting background has influenced how you do business. What would you say to somebody who doesn't have an accounting background, but that does, or that thinks like you think with your accounting background?
Yeah, so I mean, you can do one of 2 things. You can educate yourself by reading more books and studying a lot more about it, or you can hire someone. For me, my accounting background is really not used for accounting. I'm a numbers guy. I know like my return. I know how to calculate my return. I know how to put it in a spreadsheet and say, okay, if it's not this return, don't buy it, and make that decision. Now, as far as giving them sound and tax advice, I don't use my accounting for of course for that. But as far as the number thing is, and I think everybody here, even if you're not an accountant, some sort understands numbers to an extent that they can now put together any of the things that I've done as well. But again, accounting and real estate both are numbers games, and I guess my background in that helped me a lot. But even before accounting, I've always been a math guy, a science guy, to a point that I understood kind of how numbers should work. If that makes sense. Yeah. Any other questions? Good. Oh yeah.
Ooh, go up front.
Isn't he a great person to look to and try to emulate some of this awesomeness? But I only have one problem with one thing you said, Q. You said something about your ugly mug on a truck. And I look at you, I'm 6 inches away, and you're a handsome dude.
Well, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Let me get away from ooh.
He already knows. Oh, we're gonna go there now. He already knows I'm married. I already told him my ring story, right? Everyone heard my ring story, my 4 kids. Can I share how many kids you'd like to have?
3 to 4.
3 to 4. And guess what,
Max.
Q? I got another thing to tell. I got some ideas for you. I got some name ideas. So I think if Q has some kids, let's vote. This is, you like to take a survey, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna help you pick the next 3 names of your kids. Quintavius. Good. 5 applause. That's good, right? UQ. UQ? No.
UQ?
Okay, no UQ. I don't think they like that.
See, I think the only problem that he's not realizing is I'm black. Those are Asian names, man.
Wait. Oh man, this whole time. No, it's a hybrid. Hybrid. Black and Asian. I don't know. I'm not going to go there. I got one more name. Q Sarachai. My real name, is what Sarachai. Q Sarachai. Black Asian, baby. I love it.
I don't know.
Because one day I'm going to own Mississippi called Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Yeah. And then.
Good luck changing that.
Okay, I got another idea for Q. Do you have a name for your moving trucks?
Yeah, it just says buy, sell with me, use my truck for free.
I'm gonna give you an idea because I've always wanted to own a moving truck, and I'd call it the U-Haul. But guess what? He should call his
U-Haul.
U-Haul. But in all seriousness, you know, he got my personality real early yesterday. I'm a jokester. I told him I'm a class clown. I like to have fun. I apologize, guys. I can't not have fun. It's like it's hard, right? It's my drug. But anyways, I want to just kind of highlight some things, and then we'll totally wrap it up and let you guys start your beautiful day with this inspiration from Q. But I love that he spoke things into existence. He said, I'm gonna make $500,000. He not only spoke it, we talked about this yesterday, you dreamed it, you visualized it, and he made it happen, obviously. Another thing I love what he said is, he said, everyone said, you know, making this or doing that, that's impossible. He said that a couple times, that two different people told you that. And y'all already know, if Ooh was his broker, Ooh would never have told you anything's impossible. If anything, Q, impossible stands for I am possible, right, guys?
That's it.
And I got a few more things, and I know I'm long-winded, so bear with me. I know I'm almost done. No, but I like I said, I wish Q was one of our agents in Iowa, because I love the guy. He's my son that I never had. I wish I could have a son this handsome and good looking. Don't tell Jackson, JJ that. But no, can I make a bold executive move right now and welcome Q into the Concepts family?
I appreciate that. Thank y'all.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. And but yeah, just when you guys go out in your day, be like Q. Give out cards, talk to 200 people, have systems, know your 168, be disciplined, activity rewards.
Yep.
And actually, one more thing. Sorry. Let's pretend like you meet me at Dairy Queen, because I like my sweets. What kind of role playing would you do if I was getting ready to make my shortcake strawberry blizzard? I was about to eat it, my first bite.
First bite. Man, you think you need that?
Have you seen my truffle shuffle?
I have not, but hey, what days do you work out?
I try to work out 7 days a week, at least 15 minutes a day, Q.
Okay.
I don't know your name yet, but
That's cool. All right. Well, hey, let's do this. I come in your gym, do a workout with you, but here's one of my cards. Just give me a call. I'm a real estate guy. And if I can do your workout and you can do mine, I can have to be your guy in real estate. But if I can't, I have to give you $500.
I was just,
Sure.
I love the role play.
So it's natural. You know, you just have to come off and be willing to almost offend someone, but also come back real quick to say, I don't mean it that way. It's just a joke. But you didn't take it as an offense.
No, not at all.
He made it easy on me. Some folks be like, well, what do you mean? Do I need it? Well, I mean, do any of us need ice cream right now? That's kind of what I mean. Not saying that you're not in shape or anything, but what gym do you work out at? I go right back to that part of it to try to get a little nice bed, a little workout session in between us two to build more of a bond. And now I've roped them in by saying, if I can't do your workout, I'll give you $500. But if I can, I have to be your agent.
Okay, I'm gonna add one question or one statement. But you know, Keo, I'd love for you to be my agent, but my sister, my brother, my uncle, I already have an agent. What would you say in that?
Got it. So, you know, in the event that they get out of the business or they upset you and at a barbecue next time, maybe you need a backup and I can be your backup. Call Q for the backup.
That's what's up right there, guys.
Yeah.
Any other objections that you guys can think of before we let it go? They like to make fun of me. Can I tell you one thing? You're part of the family. I'm a man, head to toe. They call me the Concepts mom. And then they always pick on me for making some fun. I love kids. And I was like, ooh, tickle. You know, they thought
I'm not even
weird.
ticklish.
Oh, you're not ticklish?
No.
Okay. But anyways, person's a stand-up comedian too, by the way. But any more questions, guys? Any more questions for Q, our new family member?
Yeah, you guys can ask me anything, seriously. Like I'm an open book. If I didn't hit on something you wanted to hear, just tell me. If you have a question about it. Yeah. No, I'm the 5th oldest. Number 5. So Quintavius means 5th king. So I guess that's where my name comes from, but I'm the 5th oldest. Yeah. Youngest is 6. And it was 13 boys, 4 girls. My oldest brother is 33. Youngest is 6. Yeah. Got it. It's just, if y'all see my dad, just tell him to stop. Just,
Wait, he's still going?
I think you never know.
Awesome.
You never know. So we thought he was done after the last one, and here he is with a 6-year-old. So
Guinness Book of World Records, here we come.
my dad is 54, 55. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what the guy's thinking. Again, if you see him on the road, get out the way. He can't pull out. Seriously.
Now we get the joke, right?
Don't shake his hand. Yeah, so I had a goal that said, by the time I was 30 years old, I wanted to own 30 properties. And I'm not 30 yet, and I own 47. And then I had a goal that I wanted to be retired by the age of 35. And I only had 5 years, so I wanted to do real estate before I switched into my next gear. But my motivation, man, is I just want to be better than me. When you come from nothing and you have an opportunity to set the ground. I have so many kids from my hometown, so many kids around the country who grew up playing sports, and they think that the NFL, the NBA, the MLB is all that they have and should be doing. Whereas, I want to show them a different angle. So that's kind of my motivation. I haven't inspired enough kids yet to say, you know what, I don't have to go to the NFL, but I can have an NFL lifestyle. And that's what I want to create. I want to create my own NFL within my brand, within myself, within my talents, that I don't have to work for folks. So my motivation is, waking up and just being better than I was yesterday. So hopefully some kid, somebody in another market, another place right around the street can look at it and say, you know what, if that guy can do it, so can I. If he can come from nothing and make himself something, then so can I. That's my motivation every day. And I just don't feel like I've inspired enough people. So I have to keep going. Yeah.
Boom. And one more thing, we're gonna do a selfie video. Any more questions? Because we got this room till midnight, right, guys? I'm joking. I don't really want to let this moment go, but eventually all good things have to come to an end. But I do want to say one thing, because he'd asked, out of our 168 guys, what else? What else? What else? And I think what I just heard from Q is that what else? That what else is put some time in your day to give. Put some time in your day to serve. Put some time in your day to improve. Put some time in your day to dream. Right, Q? Is that a fair statement?
That is.
Hey,
That is.
we're gonna start a new podcast, by the way. We're gonna call it the Q and Ooh. Oh, dang, that's a good
I like
one.
that.
Q and
I'm
Ooh
all
show.
for that. I'm
And
all
it's an
for it.
announcement. And guess what, guys? Spoiler alert, I'm in the Netflix series too. I'm joking though, but can we take a selfie with everyone? Are we done? Are we done, guys? Is that okay?
If anyone wants to go up on stage and get a group picture, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I want to turn around. Let's get together.
Handful of people up on the stage for a group picture. Yeah.
Yes, please. Can we do a oofy, and then a group picture? This is my boy right here.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
My brother from another mother. Q.
What up? Ooh, Q.
Fastest man I know right here. I'm the second fastest person I know. Not really. You're my boy. You're my boy, Q.
Appreciate it. Are we
So
coming
how we wanna do this?
down
Madison,
or
Heather?
we're going this way?
I think I'm taking you to the airport unless you want someone else to